You may be seated. Boy, considering the last 26 months, we might be able to predict what just took place. Before we officially begin, please join me in thanking our sound crew who just moved everything over from the quad. Thank you so much. How about our facilities team who got our stage all ready, and everybody, our ushers, thank you so much. And it's sunny outside. But there are additional storms coming, and I hope it comes hard. It's truly a blessing to have all of you with us this evening for our baccalaureate service in this new, renewed space. A special welcome to the parents, to the grandparents, extended family, and friends of the class of 2022. Parents, thank you for your care, for the time, yes, the resources, and the love that you have given to make this weekend possible for our proud graduates. To the class of 2022, we are grateful for your many contributions that you have brought to the life of this college, and we wish you well as you commence a new journey and experience new challenges and opportunities as Juniata graduates. For sure, as I just referred, the past 26 months were not exactly what you had imagined as part of your college experience. But to say that you persevered is an understatement. You endured all the challenges that COVID brought to each and every one of us. Congratulations and thanks for hanging in there. This service, at this time, the night before your graduation, it's also an extraordinary opportunity to reflect on the personal journey that was your unique Juniata experience. Think about the people you have met, the friendships you have made, the mentors you have chosen, the knowledge you have absorbed, students you have changed in profound ways over the past several years, and now is the time to acknowledge it, learn from it, and yes, celebrate it. So be grateful for the time this evening and appreciate this most uncommon journey that you have experienced, as this will undoubtedly provide meaningful support for your next one. Please join me now as we enter this hour of worship inspired by the Juniata College Choir.
Laudate, We acknowledge that we are living and working on the homelands of the Juniata, the people of the Standing Stone, the Oneida Nation, who had a village here at the time of colonization.
A primary symbol of the Unitarian Universalist faith tradition, a flame with a chalice, a cup with a stem and foot. The flaming chalice is present in many congregation gatherings and worships. During World War II, an Austrian artist, Hans Deutsch, brought together the chalice and flame as a Unitarian symbol. To Deutsch, the image of the flame and chalice had the connotation of sacrifice and love. Today, Unitarian Universalists have several interpretations of the flaming chalice, including the warmth of community, the light of reason, the fire of commitment, and the flame of hope. As I light the chalice this evening, I share this writing from Virginia's satire titled People Making. I am convinced that there are no genes to carry the feeling of worth. It is learned, and the family is where it is learned. Feelings of worth can only flourish in an atmosphere where individual differences are appreciated, mistakes are tolerated, communication is open, and rules are flexible. The kind of atmosphere that is found in a nurturing family. Since the feeling of worth has been learned, it can be unlearned, and something new can be learned in its place. The possibility for this learning lasts from birth to death, so it is never too late. There is always hope that your life can change because you can always learn new things.
Good evening. We're going to sing together this evening, and I look forward to doing that with you. So I want to help you be your best singer and give you just a little tip here this evening. Toward the end of the refrain, you might see in your program, God will delight when we are creators of justice. There's a pause there, justice and joy at the end. And it sounds like this. And God will delight when we are creators of justice. Pause. Justice and joy. You'll know what I mean when we get to that part, but unless you want to do a solo, take that pause, okay? Dr. Bukowski. Start with the refrain. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. For everyone born, a place at the table. For everyone born, clean water and bread. A shelter, a place, a safe place for growing. For everyone born, a star overhead. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. For woman and man, a place at the table, devising the roles, deciding the share, with wisdom and grace, dividing the power, for woman and man, a system that's fair. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us here this evening as your students, our students, celebrate their time at Juniata with the baccalaureate service they planned. I'd like to begin with a blessing this evening from the Jewish tradition. The Shinicky blessing is an ancient prayer used at special occasions to offer thanksgiving for new and special experiences. It is a blessing of a celebration and thanksgiving recited at the beginning of holidays, as well as times of deep gratitude, such as tonight. Blessed are you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, who has given us life, sustained us, and helped us to reach this moment. You might be thinking to yourself, why is the Catholic campus minister reciting a Jewish blessing? The simple answer, intersection of life. When the students were asked to narrow the theme for this evening, what emerged were words respect, knowing who I am, learning to grow, adjust, developing relationships, individual identity, resiliency, strength, seeing myself, then my community, helping to build people, build communities, being there for others, knowing others, the intersection of life. We knew not everyone could be at this table, and not everyone accepted an invitation to be at this table. So that is why I had the privilege to share the Shinicky Hanu. That wasn't my first privilege, though. My first privilege was being able to work with the amazing students seated behind me. Each of them has blessed me during their time at Juniata, and I will never be the same because of them. Thank you for crossing my path in the intersection of our lives, be it for a brief time, whether a service trip to New Orleans, a few years as a club officer, or Danny for 8 years as a colleague. That's why I ask you to be the speaker for this evening. You deserve it. Baccalaureate is a time for students to share themselves, their stories, and to say goodbye. There was a hit song in the early 90s, both Patti Loveless, which is my favorite version, by the way, and Laura Branigan recorded, How Can I Help You to Say Goodbye? It's a typical 90s song that tells a story about how difficult it is to say goodbye, and Mama's words of wisdom. Time will ease your pain. Life's about changing. Nothing ever stays the same. Mama was right. Nothing stays the same. You are not the same person you were when you started 4 years ago, 3 years ago, or even last fall. We all know nothing has stayed the same these past couple years. Take a look around. Life is changing, and we want life and expect life to change. That is how we grow, learn, experience life, build communities, and form relationships. In ending this evening, I share a poem by St. Mary's Press. The word is a seed planted that roots into the ground deeply, which grows in grace and beauty, and bends but does not break. It stands tall with others to enable the work of righteousness and justice like an ever-flowing stream of love, and will sow peace, blossom with joy, and cultivate kindness. So let there be light. Let us plant seeds. Let us nourish our children and the world. And as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Graduates, you are the word, the seed planted, growing. You have come to know yourself, mostly. You have built communities and forged relationships. That is where the intersection of our lives occur. Go nourish the world.
A reading from Leviticus chapter 19, verses 9 to 18, adapted from the New Living Translation. When you harvest the crops of your land, do not harvest the grain along the edges of your fields, and do not pick up what the harvesters drop. It is the same with your grape crop. Do not strip every last bunch of grapes from the vine, and do not pick up the grapes that fall to the ground. Leave them for the poor and the foreigners living among you, declares the Lord. Do not steal. Do not deceive or cheat one another. Do not bring shame on the name of your God by using it to swear falsely. I am the Lord. Do not defraud or rob your neighbor. Do not make your hired workers wait until the next day to receive their pay. Do not insult the deaf or cause the blind to stumble. You must fear your God, declares the Lord. Do not twist justice in legal matters by favoring the poor or being partial to the rich and powerful. Always judge people fairly. Do not spread slanderous gossip among your people. Do not stand idly by when your neighbor's life is threatened, declares the Lord. Do not nurse hatred in your heart for any of your relatives. Confront people directly so you will not be held guilty for their sin. Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against a fellow Israelite, but love your neighbor as yourself, declares the Lord.
I want to start with a quote that I heard during my time in high school from the author Anna Quindlen that has stuck with me since. The days go slow, but the years go fast. During the last semester, I cannot count how many times I've thought about this quote. Every time I was in conversation with friends, family, professors, mentors about my time here at Juniata, this quote is what came to mind. Seems like yesterday that my journey here was just starting, walking into Sherwood for the first time as a timid freshman. My journey here, though, could have ended before it started. The weekend before I needed to make my decision of attending Juniata, I was having an internal conflict about if I really wanted to go to school. Seeing my brother acquire all the debt that he had from college made me question, was it worth it? Second guessing if I wanted to start my adult life off with thousands of dollars of debt and start a life limited and dictated by money. Why am I standing here today then? What made me decide to attend Juniata? This is as simple as one word: experiences. I wanted to experience what college had to offer, and I did. Throughout these past 4 years, the people that God has put in my life have led me to have experiences I could have never imagined. From going on to a service trip to New Orleans freshman year, snowball fights, playing volleyball until late hours of the night instead of studying for finals, getting to tackle live turkeys, to cookouts during spring evenings, getting to travel across country for a wilderness trip of a lifetime, and so many more that are so priceless. Through the people and the experiences God has steered me towards during my time here at Juniata, I've learned many valuable lessons, but the one that sticks out above all else is that the experiences you have and who you have them with are what you're going to remember years into the future. Coming into Juniata, I was the perfect student. I never missed a homework assignment in high school and wasn't going to start in college. I almost never got into trouble, and I did what I was told. In short, I was uptight. This carried over from school to how I acted with friends. I was uptight and didn't do anything out of the ordinary because I had a fear that the people I was with wouldn't accept me for me. I stayed in what my dad calls my shell. In my friend groups, I became good at being who I thought they wanted to see and be around. The problem was I didn't know who I was. Without knowing who I was, this cycle of trying to impress people around me continued until, as Juniata puts it, thought about who I am. Now, I've poked fun at this mantra of Juniata's many times, as I'm sure many of you have as well. But the thing is, I did think about who I am. This happened because of the community that surrounded me. Through my experiences that my close friends pushed me towards, I've been able to truly find out who I am. Through my experiences at the field station, reflection, solitude, my cross-country trek, I've been able to discover the identity God has given me and embrace it without any shame. I will be forever grateful for my journey here and for the people God has given me the pleasure of knowing. I'm grateful for my professors, mentors, and friends. Today, I can truly say that the experiences God allowed me to have and who I experienced them with is worth far more than what I feared 4 years ago. Now, I want to circle back to the quote I started with. I thought the quote was only, "The days go slow, but the years go fast," until recently when I was researching where it came from. I discovered the full quote actually goes like this: "For the young, the days go fast and the years go slow. But for the old, the days go slow and the years go fast." Now, by no means at 22 years of age do I think I'm old, but in the past 4 years, I see that this quote holds much truth. In a few short years, this moment will seem like a distant memory to myself and most likely many of you. But I think that this quote speaks for the distant memories. The distant memories were once the experiences of the present. These words have become a call for me, a call to make memories, to experience. Yeah, a call to make money. A call to make memories, to experience life and the people around me. A call to make memories for when I'm older, here comes the cliche, so that I have no regrets. So now when the world tells me to choose gain, I know I won't choose regret choosing happiness. When the world tells me to choose selfishness, I know I won't regret choosing selflessness. When the world tells me to choose judgment, I know I won't regret choosing grace. And when the world tells me to choose hate, I know I won't regret choosing love. I stood here in front of all you tonight and shared my story of the past 4 years. But don't hold my story above your own. Even though I'm up on stage speaking, I know every single one of you have had experiences and met people through our time here that will be with you forever. No matter how big or small your experiences were, take them with you, wherever you might go. Tomorrow we will celebrate them and mourn them as we prepare to move on from Juniata. But I ask this one thing of all of us as we close out our time here. Don't shy away from new experiences in the future. I urge you to seek them out, experience life, the good and the bad, and remember the experiences you have, the people you meet, and the places you will go will be worth it. Thank you.
A reading from the book of Romans, chapter 12, verses 14 to 18 and 21. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good.
To the girl who believed in speaking her dreams into existence. To the 17-year-old freshman that was nervous about leaving her family and loved ones. You have no idea how strong you were to have woken up every day and thanked your Lord for all he's done. And stood back up strong after numerous stressful conversations and tears that were shed. To the girl that grew to meet new people. If only you knew the simple decisions you had made has had a significant impact on who you've become and who you grow to be in the future. If only you knew the 3 random girls you roomed with at Jubilee in February 2020 would become some of your dearest, caring, and God-loving people in your life. To the girl that cried tears of sadness because all she wanted was to be with her parents like her peers during holidays. You have endlessly leaned on your God's love, comfort, and work. Bless the Lord who has placed 2 wonderful families in your life who've been loving parents and taken you into their household as their own daughter. Not only for the love and care as their own daughter, but playing significant roles in your faith journey. Romans 8:28 reads, "And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose." Know that the God who has helped you through the hard days, trials, and uncertain times has helped you conquer those days and gave you countless other days of laughter, love, amazing humans. If only you knew how fast time flies by and where you're standing today. To the girl who was afraid to speak and be seen, I want you to know that you took the invitation to be a leader. You went on to lead out of who you are, continuously asking God to be your strength, wisdom, and light, repeatedly telling yourself that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is the understanding. You found your voice and stood before others, and you helped others to grow and develop into new leaders after you. Look at where you are now, here, speaking, and standing in front of the class of 2022. Beyond that, your Lord has provided you with incredible friends for a lifetime. Friends you'll be continually be able to lean on, stress about life with, and laugh until you pee your pants. To the girl that continually dreamt about graduating college in 3 years at the age of 20, if only you knew 20 isn't that old. Forever be thankful for those who made you feel endlessly loved, your wonderful parents who've been your #1 supporters, your aunts and uncles who've been supportive and welcomed you into their household at any time, and above all, thank your God who has helped you achieve what you've done. To the girl who loves to dream, and to the class of 2022, keep on dreaming and speak them into existence. Thank you.
So this is a litany, and so when I raise my hand, you guys just say what's on the paper. Okay? Okay.
We got this.
The past few days have been filled with time to reflect, to remember and relax. Tonight we take time to celebrate together. It's wonderful to be surrounded by family and friends, by teachers and mentors, to recall together the many reasons we have to be grateful.
We give thanks tonight for all that Juniata College has meant to us, how it has touched and shaped our lives, and how our lives have become interwoven over the years. We celebrate our daily life together, reflecting back on the presence of caring friends, those who lived and laughed with us, those who sat together with us during tough times, those who got lost in honest conversation with us deep into the night. Today we celebrate the abundant blessings of our together.
We give thanks to faculty and staff who sought to teach us even in times when we were less than willing to learn. Those who believed in us and encouraged us to follow our dreams, who served us dinner at Magical, who forgave us for completely crushing them in a game of tug-of-war on Mountain Day.
Today we celebrate the abundant blessings of our journey together. We give thanks for the many rich traditions of Juniata College that bring us all together as a campus community, including storming the arch, Mountain Day, tenting at Madrigal, the Baileys, and LAS. We are especially grateful for every event that involves animal cuddles, from the Surprise Day Petting Zoo, Spring Fest, and Build-A-Bear Jab events, to coffee on the quad with first dogs, Lanny and Lila.
We give thanks to you, our families and friends as well. You were always there for us, supporting us with your love, encouragement, and whenever impossible with a welcomed care package. I like that. A weekend visit filled with washing of dirty laundry or a home-cooked meal, or taking us out of the meal at Boxers or Standing Zone, or really anywhere but Baker.
Yep. Working together, we have seen many of our dreams come to fulfillment. We give special thanks for the beauty and diversity of the many people with whom we have shared this journey, as well as the beauty and diversity of the trees, flowers, and open spaces of this campus where we have grown.
Today we celebrate the abundant blessings of our journey together. And today, our future beacons. Sorry, guys. Each of us to continue on the journey of lifting one another with responding, surrounding, hope, and gratitude, as well have a place at the table. Let us build our communities with respect, service, and open hearts and minds. Today we celebrate the abundant blessings of our journey together. Yeah. So I'm not leaving because I'm next. Letting everyone know, these are songs. I'm going to be singing, kind of rapping, songs that remind me of Juniata. Okay. Where we going? I said the moon. The present and the future begin to collide. When goals are met, dreams are set, and minds are open wide. So much to do, so much to see, so what's wrong with taking the back streets? My thoughts go to this place and how it came to be. How my history, the story of me, will collide in the mountains of the Alleghenies. Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready? And as my life is formed by all that has influenced me, what I was always meant to be, I realize that I am becoming. Closing times, open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. That everything will change, and what I thought I knew will be set free, searching for all I can see, moving ahead with discovery. Closing time, closing time. Every new beginning comes from some other beginnings, and that's it, guys.
Relationship goals. Most of us probably think of cute images of romantic partners, like perhaps an older couple still holding hands at the park, or a trendy couple with matching pajamas snuggled up in front of the fireplace on an Instagram reel, right? Thanks for the nod, I appreciate it. Well, tonight I am pitching a different ideal image for our community's relationship goals that I want to both celebrate and commend to you on the eve of your college graduation. Inspired by the stories we've already heard, the teaching of the readings, and by you all in front of me. So by show of hands, yes, I am asking for your participation, yes, Did anyone here make a friend in college that, when you stop and think about it for a moment, you think, I can't believe we met? Thank you, yes. Or maybe it's more like, wow, I cannot believe two people like us actually grew to be friends. Yeah, thanks for being honest. Whether it's because geographically you come from opposite ends of the earth, or maybe stylistically you express yourselves in wildly different ways. Maybe your personalities, your preferences, your beliefs, or your cultures are just from different places. Yet, you ended up in that inbound group that survived whitewater rafting together. Or you sat down in a circle next to one another on that very quad that we're supposed to be on right now. Thank you, Rain. 4 years ago at orientation, and you bravely shared your name, your POE, and your favorite ice cream flavor. Despite plenty of differences, you all have found other people who also love to sing, compete on a team together, are the same kind of quirky, or who happen to be just as passionate as you are. look beside you. That's another participation required. That's it. Look beside you, look behind you, look around you. And just consider all the people you have met somehow and grown with through your shared experiences at Juniata. Can we just take one more moment to relish in the richness of these relationships? I think you spanned the chasm of differences, overcame the inner fears of not belonging, and that you are unfolding into the people that you are becoming because you took meaningful risks for the opportunity of creating needed connection and community here. What lies behind the beauty of authentic relationships, I think, is risk. Replace trendy pajamas and sweet scenes of holding hands at the park with powerful moments of brave vulnerability. Making space at the table. Consoling a friend during a 3 a.m. cry. Or simply looking at the faces of others and seeing one another. Actually seeing. Do you know what I mean by what it feels like to see and be seen? I'm grateful to say that I witnessed that here at Juniata regularly through the actions of you all. And I want you to know today how much these actions matter. In a culture that says, go from this place and do whatever it takes to gain for yourself power, possessions, popularity, hear and proclaim an alternative message that says, do what you are able to practice the risk of restraint and the risk of humility for the purpose of relationships. Allow me to reiterate some actions that we hear from the scriptures that Dan and Sarah read for us earlier, with some of my own language to frame what I mean by practicing the risks of restraint and the risk of vulnerability, or the risk of humility. Practicing restraint. Purposefully, leave some for others, particularly those who are othered, such as weak ones or those who lack civil rights. The risk of restraint is that sometimes the good and freedom of the whole requires our own practice of restraint, not taking or not having it all. Whether it's leaving grapes on the vine, trees in the forest, or words in our mouth. Practicing humility. Surround yourselves with and learn from humble and lowly people. Consider before you act what others see as good and beautiful. Listen to them and practice empathy. The risk of humility is that you may not get your way and you may not get noticed. Allow yourself to be wrong and recognize that there are ways other than your own. Be in a community of relationships. Do your rejoicing and your grieving, and quite frankly, whatever else you gotta do in community. Move through it all with each other and discern together what is good. Juniatians, you have built and you know how to build relationships. You have taken risks and you have the capacity to learn from them. What does that mean moving forward? I propose that you go from this place and take risks for the sake of community. Often the message at graduation is something to the effect of, go change the world. And not that I don't commend that to you, but I warn you, without humility and without restraint, you'll lack meaningful relationships and community, which are the ecosystem for transformative action. Go take risks for the sake of community. because you can, and because it matters. You have taken in years of information and experiences. Now, what are you going to do about it? I encourage you to listen to the choral songs that are about to close our time together. Hear and see their words, the vision they cast, and the questions they prompt. Class of 2022, you can already do more than you know. Do y'all realize that? When you think about who you are, acting on all that you've learned from your experiences here, what are your relationship goals? For the communities that you leave behind and for the communities that you are moving into? And what are you able to risk to pursue them? Go, and let it be so.
Just stand and sing again. For young and for old, a place at the table, a voice to be heard, a part in the song. The hands of a child and hands that are wrinkled, for young and for old, the right to belong. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy. For just and unjust, a place at the table, abuser abused with need to forgive. In anger and hurt, a mindset of mercy, for just and unjust, a new way to live. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. For everyone born, a place at the table, to live without fear and simply to be, to work, to speak out, to witness and worship. For everyone born, the right to be free. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. Amen.
Class of 2022, go. Go take risks for the sake of community. And when you do, make sure, as Mary Oliver says, make sure you keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. Keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. You have done a lot, learned a lot, grown a lot, built a lot, but you are not finished. There is more justice, more peace, more love, more community to be sought, to be created, to be embodied.
and it is wild and beautiful and unimaginable to you even now. So keep some room, some humility and restraint, some grace in your heart. Carry this community, these stories and memories with you, knowing that you do not go alone. And in that, may you be blessed. May you be empowered, creative, humble, and willing to take risks to be in and build community for yourselves, for each other, for the world. Amen.
You may be seated. The principle of compassion lies at the heart of all religions, ethical and spiritual traditions, calling us always to treat all others as we wish to be treated ourselves. Compassion impels us to work tirelessly to alleviate the suffering of our fellow creatures, to dethrone ourselves from the center of our world and put another there, and to honor the inviolable sanctity of every single human being, treating everybody without exception with absolute justice, equity, and respect. It is also necessary in both public and private life to refrain consistently and empathetically from inflicting pain, to act or speak violently out of spite, chauvinism, or self-interest, to impoverish, exploit, or deny basic rights to anybody, and to incite hatred by denigrating others, even our enemies, is a denial of our common humanity. We acknowledge that we have failed to live compassionately and that some even increased the sum of human misery in the name of religion. We therefore call upon all men and women to restore compassion to the center of morality and religion, to return the ancient principle that any interpretation of Scripture that breeds violence, hatred, or disdain is illegitimate, to ensure that youth are given accurate and respectful information about other traditions, religions, and cultures, to encourage a positive appreciation of cultural and religious diversity, to cultivate an informed empathy with the suffering of all human beings, even those regarded as enemies. We urgently need to make compassion a clear, luminous, and dynamic force in our polarized world. Rooted in a principled determination to transcend selfishness, compassion can break down political, dogmatic, ideological, and religious boundaries. Born of our deep interdependence, compassion is essential to human relationships and to a fulfilled humanity. It is the path to enlightenment and indispensable to the creation of a just economy and peaceful global community.